The context. HOLOSTARS is a corpo VTuber group that began in June 2019 and is ran under Hololive production. What makes this group stand out is the fact that all of its talents are male, making HOLOSTARS the only male talent group under Hololive production, possibly in an attempt to cater towards the female audience in a similar way to how Niji Sanji's Luxium blew up in popularity 2 years later. This would, however, not end up being the case. The main issue was that, unlike Niji Sanji, who debuted both male and female livers in the same generation since its conception, Hololive was debuting female talents only, which, in an idol culture where males make up the majority of the fanbase, was, and still is, a solid strategy for the agency. However, it is because of this idol culture that female and male idols are extremely discouraged out to interact with the opposite sex, which would cause tensions between the Japanese branch of HOLOSTARS and the Japanese branch of Hololive, as while there are no signs they don't like each other, the talents aren't necessarily allowed to publicly engage with one another as a way to appease the "my idol must be pure" audience, primarily from the male side. This would end up leading to unfavorable treatment towards the JP HOLOSTARS branch, with both talents and staff giving the group the cold shoulder, including a controversial moment where EN talents Fuomoko refused to acknowledge HOLOSTARS talents in a key visual reveal back in 2024. Again, not necessarily because they don't like HOLOSTARS, but because they're forced to do so to keep those particular fans happy. The announcement. On April 3rd, 2026, Corp, the parent company of Hololive, would post an official announcement regarding controversial changes to the JP HOLOSTARS branch. Simply put, Hololive will no longer be backing JP HOLOSTARS as a project, meaning that 3D streams, anniversaries, merch, concerts, and original songs will not be funded by Hololive anymore, and is instead focusing their funding on assisting the talents individually, citing a lack of financial sustainability. This would mean that all of the previously mentioned items would have to come out of the talents' individual pockets, which would significantly impact their overall earnings as a result. The responses. For the JP HOLOSTARS talents, this was a massive middle finger coming from Hololive, as they're essentially unable to do the majority of activities that kept the talents afloat. The biggest problem for the talents was the fact that they were no longer allowed to produce and sell merch, which, to many of them, would cause a major loss in revenue, resulting in living budgets being shrunken to accommodate for this. This would cause a so-called rebellion arc against Hololive, with several of HOLOSTARS talents opting to post more free-form content as a way to vent out their frustrations, which many found to be both really funny and understandable. This announcement would cause significant discourse within the VTubing community, with many deliberating over male and female VTubers and their overall impacts on the VTubing community, some choosing to have choice opinions regarding them. The aftermath. As of this video, all of the current HOLOSTARS talents are still in the agency, opting to push through the downscaling and continue making content. Whether the surge in exposure and popularity will lead to the group receiving funding from Corp isn't certain. This may be a temporary help for its talents. As with all my videos, do not harass anyone in or outside of this video.